Hey, Dan Passarelli here. Happy Tuesday. So we had a pretty good update in the market today. I mean, not crazy good update, but 1.6%, that's a pretty big update. That's the S&P 500, as you can see here, which ended up filling this gap and then filling this gap, closing above the 21-day moving average, which tends to see some follow through, but we always like a confirmation candle. And then we're going to be bumping up the 50-day moving average. And if we break through there, it's very likely from a technical standpoint, we get some follow through. Now, all that being said, we still have the VIX sitting at 1809, which is a very high level historically. And so what that means is, well, it means the market expects there to be a lot more volatility, but as a market taker family member, you know already that that is a little bit of an oversimplification. What it really means is that people are still buying options. I mean, or at least they're still long options. We've got that demand pressure influencing the market. And when they do that, you know why they tend to do that? To protect the downside. So the folks who bought puts recently to push the VIX up this high, they're not really selling them that aggressively. So I think that we still have some volatility ahead of us, and I would bet on that. In fact, as a matter of fact, I did bet on it. I bought a straddle earlier today in, what was that, SOXL, which was a very, very underpriced straddle. That's a semiconductor 3 times ETF. Take a look at it. In fact, let's bring it up real quick. So we have the implied volatility, or the historical, whoops. I thought that looked a little weird. SOXL. So we have the historical volatility up at 190. That's because of all these big moves we've seen lately in that name. But we see the implied volatility of straddles that we can buy sitting way down closer to 100. It's almost half as much. Now, when I see that, and when I see the volatility that we're having, and when I see the VIX elevated at 18, over 18, that makes for a nice little tasty straddle candidate. All that being said, the one thing that I do believe strongly in is that we are likely to have more volatility. Could be to the upside, could be to the downside, but there are opportunities out there if you know where to look. And by the way, speaking of knowing where to find opportunities, if you haven't registered yet for the training that we're having this week, all on time spreads, which are really, really great right now, please go to markettaker.com/REG and get yourself signed up. This is Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart.